Two recent votes by the House have the deep state globalists smiling. One was the impeachment of the president, and the other was the USMCA trade deal. Now, you could cut the amount of venom in the air with a knife during the impeachment hearing on Wednesday. Democrats and Republicans were openly feuding with words before casting their vote. The attitude was much different with Thursday's USMCA hearing. Both sides of the aisle were fawning over each other as to how much of a win the trade deal was going to be for the country. To be honest with you, it was absolutely disgusting. It was either very obvious that either they didn't know the details of the bill, or perhaps they're part of the globalist plot to integrate the three North American countries into a regional union, the North American Union. The organized talking points they regurgitated during their speeches focused on pulling in more jobs and having a large economic impact. Yet, the International Trade Commission months ago predicted just a slight bump of 0.35% for the economy and 0.12% increase in job growth. And a new report from the Congressional Budget Office this week expects the deal to create additional costs for automakers to the tune of nearly $3 billion. Now, listening to the congressional testimony, you'd think that the U.S. Trade Representative delivered the Holy Grail to Congress. You get the impression that the federal government is needed to manage those business deals, that the business between the countries wouldn't have come about unless government crafted that deal. Well, apparently many of these folks skipped out on Econ 101 because capitalism does not require a managed economy or any type of central planning. In fact, it abhors it. It recoils from it. The free market can do much better on its own. Folks, 0.35% and 0.12% are truly pathetic numbers that the free market can blow right out of the water if government just got out of the way. Isn't that what Trump has used as his main tool for improving the economy? To get government out of the way? And we have to say, for as many quotations from the Founding Fathers and the Constitution that we heard from congressmen during the impeachment hearing, you'd think that these constitutional scholars would know that they have the constitutional responsibility to regulate foreign commerce. Now, they would probably argue that this is exactly what they're doing. Yet the long-term outcome will see that responsibility stripped away and placed in the hands of an unaccountable, unelected bureaucracy that will operate above the federal governments of all three countries. Chapter 30 of the USMCA sets up this bureaucracy, which will start out as the Free Trade Commission. It will create and oversee all of the very many committees and working groups needed to regulate and implement the agreement, as well as be judge and jury with interpretation of the agreement. So what recourse will Congress have when this regional commission starts to take on a life of its own? And let's not be naive about this. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi even said in a news conference that the USMCA basically has a life of its own, and then mentioned that globalism was a reality that was not going anywhere. Commissions are what help to create all of the bureaucracy in the European Union. One could make the argument that the European Commission wields more power over nations than perhaps even their own sovereign governments. Listen, if you're willing to follow in the globalist footsteps, then that means you are working against the sovereignty of the United States. Will we need to be in the same boat as Britain, fighting for our independence from a regional union, before we recognize this fact? An interesting thing to think about regarding the impeachment and the USMCA is that the impeachment served to rally Republicans around Trump. With the USMCA vote being the day after the House impeachment vote, Republicans are super pumped to pass Trump's signature bill. So there is very little opposition to it. Was that set up by these deep state globalist leaders in order to ensure the passage of the USMCA in the House? Well, the same thing happened in the Senate, where they will rally around Trump to give him a win? The last time we fought against the federal government to get them to stop building the North American Union was about a decade ago. We fought for 5 years, and we won it. We barely have had just over a year now, and it looks like Republicans and those in the deep state are ramming this thing through. But we have to get them to see that American sovereignty is not for sale. It is just too precious and too hard to get back once it's gone. So please, call, tweet, and email messages to the Senate. We need you to flood Capitol Hill and your senator's home district offices with phone calls, tweets, and emails. Now, we can generate the heat needed, but will they feel it? So please, call repeatedly their home district offices in your state as well as their DC offices. They respond best to calls and tweets, and then get others to do so as well. Resources to help you are included in this video's description. So please, protect American sovereignty by stopping the USMCA, and please share this far and wide. And we thank you in advance for doing so.